We will start with the Chateaubriand. Comes out the packet, take off the plastic. Now this has already been marinated by us in treacle, okay? So it doesn't need a lot done to it. There's already a lot of flavour and a lot of love being put into this, so it's a lot easier for yourself at home to be able to cook this, okay? So open up the packet. I like to drain it slightly on a cloth just to get rid of any residual liquid. Inside the bag you'll also find a little bit of garlic, thyme and butter. We'll keep that to the side. So make sure your pan is hot. I prefer a medium to high heat. If you put your hand over the pan, it should be hot. Don't put your hand in the pan. The steak should be brought to room temperature for about half an hour before you start to cook it, okay? So a little bit of oil into your pan. You should expect just a little bit of smoke. I'll turn it up slightly. And just place the steak straight in the pan. You should hear a sizzle. What that's doing is it's caramelising the outside of the meat, and all that treacle and all that complex flavour from the sugars are starting to caramelise as well. So the beef is now ready to go into the oven. Once we've seared it off, we place that into the oven. The salsa verde will come in a little sachet. What we're going to do is we're going to empty it into a container. I'm going to serve some of it onto the plate, and I'll serve some of it separate so people can add it as they wish. Here we have it. So salsa verde is a blend of vibrant herbs, basil, chervil, tarragon and mint. It's blended with some capers and little gherkins and some very, very top drawer olive oil. And we put that on the plate as well. That will cut through anything else that we serve with it. So just simply place it in the centre. With the back of the spoon, make a circular motion. Lovely stuff. I mean, look at that. How is that not going to taste nice? Okay, so our steak should be ready now. All dark and gnarled and tasty. We're adding in the butter and a little bit of the garlic and the thyme. All of this is adding in flavour. What you want to do to add extra flavour, from the nuttiness from the butter, we want to baste over the steak. So all the flavour from that garlic and the thyme and the nutty butter will go over the steak. And bear in mind the steak's already been marinated in treacle and treated with love and care by ourselves. You see that foaming action? And this steak, because of the size of it, will need a wee rest. The resting period will be about 10 minutes, and in that time, everything else will come together. Now you can rest the beef in the pan, or alternatively, you can rest it on a separate plate. But all the flavour is already in that pan, so I'm going to leave it to rest in the pan. So we've let our steak rest. We bring it back in. You'll see on the outside of the steak, the colour. So it's a lot darker than you would normally expect, but that's because we've marinated it in treacle and the sugars have caramelised on the outside. And treacle is just unrefined sugar, and it has a real gnarly, interesting, complex flavour, which imparts to the steak very well. Anyway, we'd like that. So we've basted it in butter. We've added layer upon layer of flavour. When we're carving the steak, it's important to use a sharp knife. My preference is to use a flat blade, not a serrated knife, because it hacks into the meat. So the nice sharp blade carves through the meat like butter. So when we're carving the steak, make sure the fibres of the meat go sideways and we cut across the meat. You went to minimal effort because we went to the maximum effort. We're ready to go. So start by carving your meat, probably about the width of 2 fingers every time you carve. Nice gliding motions. So lovely rose coloured meat in the inside there. Now 3 slices is an ample portion for 2 people. It's very generous. Now you'll see, you'll also have a little smoked salt blend, and this straight on to the flesh really helps bring out all the flavours, all the flavour of the treacle and all the flavour of the butter basting that you've done. We're going to place this on the centre of our plate, just like so. And don't forget the little bits of garlic that were in the pan.